sprinters, including a rider I'm excited to see in competition as Şevket Özer is racing with us, another one of the Turkish athletes that's really emerging in the esports scene right now. Before the broadcast, Nathan and I were chatting about how great it is to see this happening. I would say that Turkey is the top emerging nation in esports right now.
Definitely been cool to see. And it's interesting. Hexagon has their eye on that region. They seem to be picking up all the top talent out of Turkey.
The Kayan brothers, right? They have both of them on the squad. So they really are now mostly it's a French and Turkish outfit, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that totally. So, well, real quickly, let's take a look here because right from the get-go today, Dave, we are seeing here the Grupp doing what he tends to like to do. He's got the plays or some sort of steering on, and so just a few seconds ago, going into the 1 kilometer as they jumped out, it was pretty calm up front. We can actually see here little ways back. I mean, everything was pretty chill up until this point right here, about 0.6 kilometers into the racing. Suddenly, we see Grupp kind of just making his way to the front and then boom, off the front to the right-hand side of the course and makes his move. A little bit of response did start coming from the rest of the field just a moment ago. As you can see, some orange numbers do start popping. Tarek starts coming across. There is a little bit of alarm bells going off, but as you can see, it is back to live images, brought back together. But I like Grupp's attitude here. I like the way he's taking this on. He tends to be an instigator when things are slower in these races, and definitely has lit the fuse for perhaps an attack going into the little bit of a climb they're going to do into Trafalgar Square in just a moment.
Yeah, that's going to be the pinch point, Nathan, no doubt. I'm with you, though. I love seeing guys like Christian get out here and spice things up. That's what we're here for at the end of the day, is some good, aggressive racing. The intensity is really the name of the game. There is no doubt. I mean, this is really, Nathan, in a lot of ways, like jumping right into the finale with a fresh set of legs, and everybody else has got a fresh set of legs as well. And here we go. It looks like the Welsh rider, Morgan. So BL13, our host team here, they really present a great opportunity for their squad to sharpen their sword every week. And Nathan, it looks like Morgan is just pushing the pace, not necessarily attacking with fury.
No, I think he ramped it up to about 5 watts per kilogram there to keep it high. I'm not sure if he was looking to attack for a second. Oh, we actually have a BL13 rider falling off the back now, I think with a dropout. Something going on there. Now getting going again very, very quickly. I'm going to see if I can find exactly who that rider is, because that was danger for sure. As I am seeing, it's going to be Barry. Thomas Barry, probably one of the favorites out here today. He will, I think. I mean, 6.7. They're going to hit hard here for the right-hand turn, but I think he's going to make it back. But his heart rate is going to skyrocket from this effort.
Wouldn't it be? It wouldn't completely surprise me if athletes were doing stuff like this intentionally, Nathan. I know that's not the case, but it would make some sense to put yourself under pressure before the sprint to try to simulate a really, really tough race finale, because that's really what we're doing, is getting some reps out here as far as sprinting against a quality field. And you're right, Thomas Barry comes in on that short list of favorites, making over 15.1 watts per kilo. I mean, raw watts, Nathan, at 964. So, but that's not the top of the table when you look at just data. 16.8 for Şevket, the Turkish rider we opened the show talking about. He's making over 1,250 raw watts. So that, though, amazingly, is not the most powerful rider on record, as I think Ethan Tracy, Nathan, probably the BL13 rider to beat today.
Big hitters when it comes to this one for
Big
sure.
Hitters.
Then now we are going to be taking a right-hand turn just momentarily here and making the way onto the main course. It is going to be one lap of Classique, so they will make their way around the entirety of the Classique course. They'll hit that little kind of 2-tier punchy climb that is on that was behind them now, but they didn't go up that road specifically. And then they will take this roundabout, see the 1K to go. See this 1K to go twice, but it is not going to be the final here in just a moment. And then they will do one lap of the Classique. It's a fun one, Dave. For me, I think there's a lot of opportunity. Even though it's flat, I personally feel like there's a good amount of opportunity to make attacks because it's kind of one of those situations. Are you going to be the one that closes that down? I think also with so much energy in the legs, a lot of times, at least for me, when I'm in a race like this or the tiny races, you get a situation where you really judge your efforts a lot, and you ask the question, is someone else going to bring that back, and can I trust it? And so you have a lot of hesitation moments where something might be able to slip away because you get a lot of people trusting that they can just line it up for the sprint that's coming soon.
Fake 1K to go there as they roll through. But Nathan, I'm listening to what you're saying, completely agreeing, thinking that this is bike racing poker. Right, you can't be the first to flinch, but you also have to understand when you're the bluff element out here as well, and that is what big time sprinting is all about. It's not just Nathan taking everyone to 200 meters, lining them up, and saying who can make the most power. It would be really a different sport if that was the case. Christian Grupp back on the attack. The Talent Frey rider has been super aggressive out here as they make their way through the middle part of the course, and he's going to put them under a lot of pressure now.
Yeah, up to 4 seconds here. And, on this downhill, downhills are the new attack spot, aren't they, Dave? We see it so often now. So much speed can be gained, up to 53 kilometers per hour. They're only doing 4 immediately. They're only doing 4 watts per kilogram in the front, 50 kilometers per hour. He's gone out to 5 seconds in the last minute gained there. This is a good amount of time. Now, anybody that knows this go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, and you pay a price for that, right, Nathan? How many times in a phenomenal opening day of the ZRL season? And by the way, did you see the numbers for viewership? I was really, really pumped to see so many people along for the ride yesterday. And Nathan, what we saw oftentimes on the climbs where riders would try to build up an advantage, but the price you pay for that oftentimes is more than the value, because you're going to look at a group right now sitting behind with some, as we said, there's some real heavy hitters in that peloton. So I love the fact that Christian Grupp wants to race this way, and it's going to make everybody a better athlete for it. If he can hold on, it's going to be absolutely incredible. But I still think that, looking back at that peloton, I still think they're relatively comfortable.
Yeah, I have a feeling we may see a move right about here. This little negative 2% gradient does increase with the speed a lot of times of the group, and you can punch over this little uphill moment. It looks like nobody taking advantage of that, though. No, they didn't. I was expecting, because it kind of is a false flat downhill for a while there into that. And then there's a little bump that you can accelerate over with the speed from the group that you gain from that downhill. Nobody used that. So Grupp continues here. Fellow from Veritas now 8 seconds. It's not absolute danger yet, but it's getting really close to that cusp, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, that moment when a grass fire is getting close to the buildings, right? You really start to get nervous, as this is Christian Grupp that Nathan has squared up right now, center of the camera, and boy, they are barely in sight out there. That's what 10 seconds looks like on our London Classique course. They're going to run out of kilometers pretty quickly, still within striking distance, but this has gone from a minor problem to a red alert.
Yeah, 10 seconds out at this point, and Grupp can continue on at this kind of pace for quite a long time, actually. 5.2 watts per kilogram, the German rider here. Barry now can see, and we saw Niall in the chat, actually, a long-time viewer and a part of the community here, riding for Oliver's Bicycle Works, I believe it is. He is out here and said, hey, BL13, you've got the numbers. Let's make a move. How do you feel about that, Dave? I don't know, when somebody calls out another team like, hey, you got the numbers, I'm fine with him calling that out. That's not, but whether or not that's a valid argument, I don't know.
Well, I think it is.
Yeah,
I actually, this is great. What an awesome conversation to have, and thank you, Niall. Appreciate you as a part of our community. But Nathan, I would say that in real life group, that is 100% what you would hear riders barking at the BL13. 100%. Every guy who's out there with one teammate or no teammates is looking at them and saying, "This is your problem. Come on." Now they can play their bluff, and it looks like now this is when it gets interesting, as Lind is going to attack. So the Danish rider isn't going to wait for BL13 to do the work. He's going to take matters into his own hands. This can either pay off or dramatically backfire for you.
Yeah, Lin now going across 7 watts per kilogram. He's going to make it across as Grupp is just holding a steady pace here. Now Niall looking to go across as well, 8.59 watts per kilogram. I think Niall's going to make it here. It looks like Paniza now, Italy, everybody. Whoa, Daz Carter. Look, BL13 says it. I love it. This is so great. Daz Carter makes a move using his power up, Dave.
Back. Yeah, absolutely. And now really setting up a teammate. So BL13 is going to roll this one. They're looking for a top 3. Can it be a podium sweep now? So the Empire strikes back. Let's see what happens now. What's the next move? We're moving chess pieces around on the board very, very quickly out here. But look at this. Oh, man. It's going to be Utley, Morel, and mighty Daz Carter.
Daz Carter here sitting third wheel. Paniza. Daunt is there, Dave. Daunt from Alpha. Big name to be with them. We saw him racing yesterday, and they definitely showed up Alpha yesterday. Now they're coming back on the second day of racing, back-to-back. Now coming through, is that going to be Daunt pushing? No, another BL13 rider. Who is that? Heyman? Daz Carter? Daunt?
Making Perros. Let's see what we've got. This is fantastic racing going on here. Just body blow after body blow being thrown at the front of the group. I thought that BL13 was going to run away with this one, Nathan, but the response has been tremendous. It looks like we've got, maybe I was going to say a separation there, but it's all coming back together more or less. Oh, man, Nathan, if you win this one, you earned it out here today.
This is the moment right here where a counter could go. This little reprieve after the 2-tier. A lot of times it kind of moves away from me. Everybody's going to have absolutely their heart coming up through the throat here. Now a little bit of a push at the front. That's going to be Weinstein out of the USA. But no, it's only going to be 3 watts per kilogram. Lin now goes again.
There's the attack.
Actually, and you notice who is able to go again, Dave? I love it. And the reason being here, he was the first one to move. Then he sat on the wheels of everybody to respond. Now he's looking to be the last one to move again. Really great to see.
The definitive attack, Nathan. This very well could be it.
I think so, Dave. I mean, here, he may not stay away, but this is one of the best ones we've seen so far. 1K to go banner. I think we're going to see a quick response to this. 7.3. He's going to have to hold something like this all the way to the line, though. Carter now starting to respond as it is going to be Daz at 8.5.
Yeah, I hate to be the dream crusher, Nathan, but there is so much available horsepower back in this group. I really think that they're going to elevate. We're going to be watching this one very, very closely. If they do make the catch, it's going to be within meters of the finish line, inside of 1K to go. It is on like Donkey Kong, Nathan.
Yeah, Daz Carty now being the lead-out man, actually, but how much more does he have? Now Perros goes over the top. They've got so many matches to burn, and that is why it's up to, BL13 as now was saying.
They're setting up Tracy.
Here comes, Dragons out of nowhere. 9 watts per kilogram coming from him. Lin still has 4 seconds, but he's only got 6.5 watts per kilogram. The Dragons now coming on through. It's going to be Kiergaard here. Now, Kiergaard here. Daunt now coming onto the wheel, and this is going to be a full tilt boogie all the way to the line now.
Oh, my problem here, Nathan, is I think they're doing the work for BL13 as BL13. Is it going to go to the line now? This is going to be incredibly close.
Yep, and it's going to be Daunt over the top, 200 meters, 200 meters to the line. Now Paniza over the top. No, Heyman from Alpha, the teammate, 100 meters still to go. It's going to go, oh my gosh, this is going to be the hair's thread. Grupp the first mover. I think he did it, Dave.
Okay, that is why we're here. That was incredible. You can really lose yourself in a bike race, and that is exactly what happened. Just phenomenal action all the way to the line. Christian Grupp, the first rider to attack, using that Zwift play, but ultimately it came down to his intense ability to be there in the matter when it matters. So Christian Grupp taking the first of 2 out here today, Nathan.
What a finale there. We're going to bring this all the way back to about, I think we'll take this all the way back to about 500 meters or so, because that move from Kiergaard was absolutely, I thought for sure that he was going to at least take a top 10. I'm not sure that he actually did at the end of that, though. As you can see, this is the moment that Carter, we're just going backwards here for just a moment. Carter here starting to ramp things up, backs off, and the moment that Carter backs off, his teammate Perros comes over the top. We do see Team Netherlands involved there as well, but it was just too much from the Dragons rider. Now out of Denmark coming up over the top of that. And after this, Dave, it was just one after another launching in order to bring back Lind.
Yeah, and I'll admit I'm a little surprised that Christian Grupp had it in his legs to take that win. As yeah, that was as hard to call as far as predicting that finale as any race that you see. So many talented riders, and the Machiavellian chess match played out in a really interesting way in that last K.
Yeah, and as you see here, Lint being caught, Daunt there from Alpha.
I thought Lind had it, to be honest. I really felt like Lind was in a position to hold on, but these wattage monsters here.
Yeah, it was really with about that about 200 meters to the line. Daunt really started to ramp it up there, 12.9, as you can see. Peniza,
He
then it was Heyman.
and Dante ended up on a podium yesterday in some of the European ZRL racing that we watched. So he's on fire right now, even if he doesn't take the W here today.
Look at how far back Grupp was, actually. Had to have a massive punch.
Well, he's
to be
what,
coming through
6
here.
wheels back?
At 100
At
meters
that
to go still. So the
Right.
speed he was coming through with was just massive. I wonder what power up he used up to this point, actually, to be grabbing that much speed.
And these guys raced so hard to get to the finish line that if you look at the watts they're making, it's not stratospherically high because they'd been grinding. I mean, the average speed of this race must have been insane.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can actually get a number on that for you here real quick.
I bet you
Let's
it's
get
about as high as you see. Considering the fact that there was very little elevation gain out there, and a group like this just muscles their way over those little blips that they see on the course, and they never really took a minute, a second off out there.
Oh, they're all lining up already for their next race. And let's take a quick look at the results and how things played out here. There it is, Christian Grupp, 4.9 watt per kilogram average. So N takes the win. So it wasn't the one who took made the least work. But I didn't see Grupp toward the front much toward the end of that race, right? Like he made the moves early. Then I think he was able to sit in a little bit more as everybody else made later moves here in this race.
Yeah, so Jasper Heyman taking second for Alpha, Luke G third in race number 1 for the SWAT team. Then the Cahan brothers, Khan and Bert Cahan, fourth and fifth, racing for Hexagon. Iker Murrell ending up with sixth. One of your teammates, Nathan, Riccardo Panizza from the Castelli team, the Italians, up there for seventh today. Ruben Daunt in eighth, Matteo Milanese in ninth, and Rudy Nussbaumer in 10th for Talente Frey. So, all right, that was super exciting. At this point now, Nathan, the turnaround relatively quick, but not insanely fast. The riders have a chance to cool down, just keep the legs turning over a little bit. Yeah, I don't even know that you need to take in any nutrition, to tell you the truth. Maybe top off with a little sugar.
I'd be taking sugar. I would be taking a little
Why
bit
not?
of sugar.
Right? I mean, I take sugar when I'm not exercising. So
yeah. The latest on that, we're actually maybe having another guest on, but we've been talking about carbohydrates a lot on the wrap recently. And the two big takeaways in cycling, I feel like from a training perspective for this last year, there's kind of been two major themes. And those two major themes have been a massive increase in the understanding of how much carbohydrate you actually take in when you're doing race type efforts or even lower to zone 2 type efforts, that the amount is a lot more than we thought it should be. And
by
the other
25%. It sounds like. I mean, I've heard Neil Henderson talking about 125 grams of carbohydrates per hour versus the old 100 that was the accepted top end for elite endurance athletes, and that's been proven.
Yeah, and so the people are even training their guts now in order to be able to take in those amounts. And then on top of that, the zone 2 training. The zone 2 training, that's been the other big buzzword. Anywhere you go right now on YouTube for anything on training, it's gonna be zone 2 this, zone 2 that, zone 2, because it's been done wrong first and a lot about how you do long, slow distance. And then on top of that, there's also just been a lot of good research in the last couple of years that's come out about its benefits. But anyways, on the
Yeah.
sugar point of view, I'd be taking a gel personally because for me
You
to
know
get
what? I'm
in,
with you.
for,
I was just trying to fake you out. I
oh, you faking
definitely
me
would.
out. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
you almost
Go for
got
a
me.
goo packet. Yeah.
I'm looking here.
Yeah,
A
that's
little bit.
another thing. I mean, well, on that note, I was just reading about Red S this morning again, right? And we're learning a lot about human physiology. And I feel like it's a golden age for that. There's so many really great minds out there that are interested in this topic and working hard on it. I kind of look at Alan Lim as a godfather in this category, talking about real foods and when you listen to it, the training process has changed so dramatically in my lifetime, and the sophistication, and that's why we see these athletes going so incredibly fast. It's a big part of it for sure, but a lot of the things like real food, things that just make sense, remain true as well.
That's a good point.
I mean,
Interesting.
just eating, but manufactured calories all the time. There's got to be something said for a good old ham and cheese sandwich.
Yeah, 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 and that's something that we try and go toward. Maybe see more about that coming through here actually in the near future. I don't know if with Koa Honey, where no big announcements just as yet, but you might see some products being tested soon
Cool.
here.
That's
Actually,
really
yeah,
good.
some cool stuff coming down the line. So as soon as we
I've
got
been
that
kind of
here.
hip. I've been hip to what you're talking about for over a year now, so I'm excited to see if you guys can make some progress there.
Yeah, we'll see.
So,
Honey coming out of Brazil. We'll see what we can make happen there. Let's take a look real quickly just at this course profile, Dave. Just and over on Zwift Power, you can see this here. They're gonna hit this climb, London Loop reverse, Dave. What we've seen yesterday, and essentially just one go at it, and then they're going down the hill, and the finish line I think is like in the roundabout, like around the roundabout somewhere there. It looks like at about
so
9.5 in or so.
what an interesting course, because this is really the scenario I'm picturing. Who is going to be the best climber that can make it up over the top of the climb? And at that point, then you start wondering, the advantage really shifts into their favor, where you wonder, will we see an attack on the downhill that wins the race? This is going to be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they put an anvil in it as well.
Which only benefits. So it really, the race in a lot of ways is going to be a prelude to the win happens at the top of the climb. At that point, I'd almost like to stop, take a picture, and look at who's got the numbers as the best sprinter in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
group.
yeah.
Who can make
This
the
is so
watts?
interesting because it's like full gas, but then the downhill from there. So you just the hang
Tale
on
of two
and
cities.
it really is. And if you can
But you
break
have to.
somebody up front and get enough
Well, that's
gap,
the name of the game. So
right?
that's the name of the game, is you have to not only break them, but break them royale. Because if
Yeah,
you've
it's got to
got
be all. I mean, like no one can respond any longer. The
uh-huh.
amount of gap you have to get,
So
and I'm
yeah,
wondering if anybody's showing up fresh. That's the other thing. Like somebody might not have
wouldn't it
done the
be?
first race.
I would love it if one of the best climbing women in the sport, someone like Kristen Kolchinski, showed up and decided to light these guys up on the climb, because it's a watts per kilogram game for the first half of the race. The second half, it's about raw power. It's completely different ends of the spectrum.
Very true. Very true. Well, we got about 28 seconds to start
Isn't
here.
that
Let's jump
cool?
down into the pens.
I just
Go
think
ahead.
this is. I love the BL13 series. These are races
They do
7
such a
and
good
8.
job. They really
Yeah.
do such a good job with everything here. So 3 seconds to start here. Let's go ahead and jump down in, and the riders taking off from the gun. Let's see how fast they take off too. Like, are we going to have anybody really trying to push the pace? I think they're thinking about that climb, Dave. From what I'm seeing here, I think that
Yeah,
they're
boy.
all
This is
anticipating
the
how.
slowest start I've ever seen. I feel like I could hang with these guys right now. I would until
Man,
now, and then I'd be dropped. But it's clearly there's some. What is the word, Nathan? Trepidation, I think.
that's a good word for this. Yeah, I would have some trepidation for sure about making any kind of waste of power or energy
Yeah.
that I could use on that climb because it's all going to be full gas to the top. You know what's crazy is that a lot of these guys here, they've raced this London Loop reverse twice already in the last week.
Yeah.
Right? Last
This
Thursday,
is
a
their
lot of
third.
the ZGP.
Yep.
Then they did it yesterday in the ZRL, and now they're doing it again today on a Wednesday. 3 times London Loop Reverse. This climb on Fox Hill in 1 week from Thursday to Wednesday. One last little go, guys. Let's see what you got. They got to be familiar with it. All the pressure points, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that though they're probably thinking to themselves, I love London, but I'm not going back for a little while. So, all right, it's going to absolutely explode. One of the things about this climb too is you want to get after it early if you're the top climber. So you got to this isn't a climb for the patient grinding type climber. This is for explosions at the bottom of the hill and just try to decimate this field. That's my thought, anyways, Nathan.
Yeah, I think for the way that this would play out on the day to day, because it's only 9.8K, in my opinion, you race this like a hill climb if you're a climber. If you're a sprinter,
Absolutely.
you're just trying to but otherwise you're racing like Red Bull hill climb, hill climb, and you just are to the top.
And let the chips fall where they may from that point
Exactly.
on, right? You do the best you can in your area of strength, and then on that descent, you just see what you can do. Go for it. Here's a name, although I want to make sure he's actually in the field, but he's on my start list here, is Charles McCarthy. That's a rider I would
Really?
watch. Yeah, I mean, coming in at 69 or 67 kilo, he can make the power.
He's
And
been
as far
going
as
pretty
watts per
good
kilo,
too. He's been
yeah,
going
I mean,
pretty good.
Iker Morel, Thomas Berry, these are the guys that have that 20-minute power over 5 watts per kilo. There's a few riders, Moffat Tarek as well. I
Watch
don't want to
out
leave
for
anyone out.
Niall. Niall's got a crazy, but the
Niall,
guy weighs like nothing. I mean, like
bicycle
literally
work.
nothing. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
young guy, really young guy, and
He's
we'll
really
see.
enthusiastic, and I'm I'm pulling for him. That's for sure. I love seeing young people get into the sport, and I just want them to do it in a healthy way, Nathan. That's really the most important thing.
100%. Patterson now, Aiden Patterson, BL13. He's got that UCI jersey next to his name. I'm gonna have to get familiar with Aiden Patterson, coming out of Australia. Right. Doesn't have his Strava connected, so I can't go stalking him. But coming in out of Australia here, riding for BL13. See if we can find some cycling stats
Not
from in real
much,
life on
level
him.
21. So
Yeah.
so he's pretty new to Zwift, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Don't hold that against him.
No, I mean
um,
they
yeah,
don't pick up.
that doesn't mean anything about talent. It just
No,
means
they
about
definitely aren't picking up anybody who's washed up or anything. That's for sure. This
there's no
team
weak
is
sauce on that
nope,
team, right?
not at all. Taking a look here, professional road racing cyclist from Australia, currently riding for a Link Continental Cycling Team. From what I'm seeing here, 24 years old. Newcastle is where he's coming out of, actually, and so younger rider.
A
You
climber.
yeah, good. We'll
Yeah,
see if we
that was a good catch, Nathan. Let's watch for Aiden today. See if he can have his breakthrough performance on the Zwift platform. We're pulling for you, Aiden. It's good to see you out here.
well.
This is going. That's
We're
Sevket
starting to
Ozer,
climb here. This
Nathan.
is the moment right here, Dave, at that 10%. Yeah, Ozer, we're on. And you said this was a favorite to watch out for today. Is it on the climb,
In the
though, or
first race.
in the
Yep,
first
yep.
race?
First
Okay.
race, maybe not
Gotcha.
here, but if he makes this front group, he's my man.
Yeah, because
No
on the
doubt about it.
downhill,
Right.
it's going to be all about just big watts. Now,
Yeah,
Niall knows
exactly.
that, and so he goes directly to the front. Even if Niall gets 5 seconds, though, maybe even 10 seconds, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to it. That'll be the big question.
Wow. Look how many riders he's dropping out the back of the group right now. But you're absolutely right, Nathan. Unfortunately, kind of a rock and a hard place situation for the top climbers. It's this is not even though you might say, look at that climb, this is a great course for you. No, not even close. It's a terrible course for a climber with that unbelievably long descent to the finish line. That's why, climbers like mountaintop finishes, summit finishes. That's their flavor.
Joker. He's not joking today. It looks like he's making his way forward. Tarek now going backwards from Wahoo.
You can feel their pressing now. You can see rider after rider getting unhitched. That's 3 riders dropped in the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, and it is Niall continuing. Perot's now to the front as well. BL13 coming over the top. Ozer's still there, Dave. If he can hold on, as you said, that's going to be quite the watts to the line here. But now Niall goes again to try and respond. Recently at the UK National Hill Climb Championships, actually, Niall. I'm not sure how he placed, but definitely competed in them. I think he did pretty well in the younger categories, actually. So,
Nathan, I'm just going to point out that Christian Grupp is just put up a text saying he's done, he's out, so paying a price for that earlier effort out here. So I'll tell you, though, with Ozer riding comfortably in the front third of that peloton, that's a big problem for everybody else. That's for sure. I like the fact that Perot is going to go out and get ahead of it now. This is going to be, we're about halfway through the climbing. It really starts just after 2K and it ends around 4.5K out here. So I think Perot needs to find 10, 15 more seconds here to make this scary.
He's all in. I'm loving what this rider is doing out of Switzerland. 6.5 watts per kilogram. As you can see, Lind not really fully responding. Dave, this is an all-in
He's
move.
opening it up. Yeah, this was what we were waiting for. So the brave Perot here is continuing to come over the top of the watts that they're pushing. So, okay, here's the poker match now. Everybody's sitting back in that peloton. Doesn't seem to be too concerned about 8 seconds. I don't think 10 seconds is going to change anything back there. Even 15 seconds looks really possible right now. There you go. It looks like Nucera, one of the Italians, is starting to up it, and as is Niall as well. So they're starting to push the chase a little bit harder here. Does it stabilize at 10 seconds? Because that's not enough.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, here's the thing. If they get this group to splinter, though, Dave, and it takes a while for it to come back together,
good point.
That could then give Perot a little bit more to work with, but they're bringing it back here very quickly. The speed is really ramping up, it looks like now, but it's about to hit that apex of the climb, and then we're going to see how this has shook out. So it looks like a good number of riders are making it here, though, Dave, and this is the last moments for the big sprinters, Dave. Fellow off the back. Dave, he can still hang on. It's got to be everything he's got, though. 170 beats per, I think that's going away, though. Lind going to be maybe the last one to hang on over the top here, though. Kayan's there. I think Ozer's been dropped.
Outside of BL13, making their play with Perot.
No, Ozer's there. Excuse me. Sorry. Apologies. Ozer is there. Ozer's there. Go ahead.
Yeah, and absolutely the man to beat as well. When you talk about Sevket Ozer here, the Turkish rider in the orange jersey, or one of the orange jerseys from the Hexagon team, and he's got some support as well. So this is going to be interesting. So Perot's made an effort. Got to give him credit for that. But I have a feeling that, we can call it 9 seconds as they come over the top, but he didn't shatter that group. You made an excellent point, Nathan. If it was riders left, right, and center all over the course, it would take them a while to get things back together to get an organized chase, but that's not the case. They've got the bit between their teeth, and this is the rider that they're chasing.
He was doing over 60 kilometers per hour at that moment that we just saw them at, though, Dave. He opened it up actually just a little bit more. Now is the question, because his motivation is so incredibly high to hold on to this. He's still doing 6 watts per kilogram at this point. The riders behind now, Dave, they're looking at each other.
They really are.
And look, BL13, they're not going to work, and they've got the numbers. Everybody else, it's up to them. Somebody's got to do something, Dave. I think he may have done it. There's a lot of anvils, though, in this group right now, Dave. We've got, 4K downhill? This is such an interesting race.
Well, and what BL13 is doing in my mind, Nathan, is just for a minute here saying, all right, we don't want to chase this back for Sevket Ozer. Let's see if we can get the Turkish guys, or the Hexagon team, I should say, to do some of the work
here. It's their teammate. It's their teammate, Dave. They're not going to chase him down.
Right. So, I mean, at this point, they're looking for Hexagon to do the work here to help set them up to counterattack.
100%.
Would be...
Luke, though, has got some distance. They didn't even respond to him.
Right.
Is everyone just done, though, Dave? Is that what's going on?
Or do they believe in the anvil so much?
I like that. It's like
the Church of the Anvil.
Yeah, I was going to say that. They believe in the anvil. Like,
anvil worshiping.
All hail the anvil.
Yeah.
I love
it. It has become I would say, the power-up du jour.
Wait, where did that come from? I thought there was an anvil. What's going on?
That's weird. So, that was yesterday, Nathan. Now that I think about it, nobody told me that there would be an anvil
Maybe.
today. I just assumed that.
Maybe no,
And
no. I thought there was. I read somewhere there was an anvil. I wonder if there was a mix-up on the event today, because that should be an anvil, and I'm not seeing any anvils being dropped. So this might just
so,
be a downhill no anvil.
can you imagine if you were promised an anvil and then it wasn't delivered? You'd
Oh man,
man,
now this
that's
changes
a bummer.
everything.
Yeah, where's my anvil? And it's like, well, it's
Here we go, Dave. Here we go. Well, this is gonna come. Oh, there it is. There is an anvil.
So, man, this guy, he's a human anvil. Actually, that doesn't sound right, but he definitely has been one of the best sprinters that we've been, I would say, over the last month. It's been a revelation seeing Daunt out here, and the Alpha Rider is rolling it now, Nathan.
80 kilometers per hour he got it up to here, Dave. Will they be able to come back? It's really difficult to bring back that kind of speed. 66 kilometers per hour. The time's coming back real quickly now as Luke is now trying to jump on perhaps to a wheel that's going to come flying by him. Daunt, though, the distance might be too much here, Dave. 7.5, but how quickly are they going to cover these last about 2K? They're going to be doing this in about a minute and a half.
45. Yeah,
Woo!
right. I mean, it'll be unbelievably quick. So this is it. Bike race in full effect right now. This is the Canadian Canuck up. Luke as Gilbo in mad pursuit of Perros, our leader. Look at the wattage that Perros is making. I don't know if he's coming back, Nathan. This guy has gone all in. Every chip pushed into the middle of the table as BL13 is going to win this one in a very interesting way. I'm surprised. The fact that he is holding on is absolutely mind-blowing, but Luke Gilbo is going to try to upset the apple cart here as here comes the Canadian, as this man is a rocket ship and right behind his Daunt. So this is it, Nathan. Business time.
3 to the line, I think, Dave. Unless, Thomas Berry's starting to ramp things up at 10 watts per kilogram behind here. They've got a K to go. K to go, I think it is at this point. 9.8, I think it said. They're not going to actually leave the underground. Daunt is coming. Luke is making contact as well. The pack is flying, Dave. They're doing 56, too,
Here
Dave. They've got him in sight. Thomas Berry might have it here, too.
Well, now they've got a good sandwich going because Barry's got his teammate on the very front. The chase is full on now, and actually that's going to be Luke Gilbo has caught Perros. Daunt right behind. Actually, Daunt is just about to make that catch. So this is going to be interesting. And here comes Ozer. Oh, boy, Nathan. This could dramatically change here in the next 300 meters.
Daunt now, one last kick to the line, it looks like. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to even see the banner here. It's probably going to be, I think it was 9.8. 9.8. They've got 800 meters to go. Kayan over the top. How did this catch be made? Dave, so many back and forth, this changing positions over and over.
Here comes Ozer. Ozer's got it. Sevket Ozer. Oh, Nathan, this has been such a great day of racing. And here he is, the human wattage cottage out of Turkey, making almost 17 watts per kilo at the top end. That guy's a monster.
There it is. I think it was right around the corner there. Apologies that we can't see the banner. I really wish we could on these custom courses, but we cannot. But
hey, it's virtual.
It's a virtual banner. You guess, as soon as you start seeing other people out there, you know it's over. Who are these other people?
It's like, oh, race ended. They're fans.
The fans showed up. They don't show up until after the race for some reason. I don't know what the deal is with that, but I'll see if.
Well, Nathan,
go ahead.
I'm really glad that you chose to cover these BL13 races. They've been absolutely awesome. So thanks a lot for that great call. And BL13, keep up the pressure. We are loving what you guys are about.
Absolutely. Well, here's the final moves. They made the catch of Daunt here in the uphill grind. This is one of the best finishes you could have, really, Dave. I mean, what an iconic spot of London Loop Reverse to be coming out of the, always precarious and kind of looming underground into those that punch of just the steepest incline you could possibly have up the escalator. Ozer kicked 14 watts per kilogram after that, made the right-hand turn, as you can see, over the top of K, and I think right about here is where the finish was. You just right here, you start seeing other people right there. Yep. Yeah, other people start showing up. K for second. It looks like Luke taking third. Morel, fourth. I mean, I think BL13, they kind of swept the podium a little bit here, it looks like to me.
Or Hexagon.
Oh, excuse me, Hexagon, BL13 followed up by, yep, you're right. Apologies on that. Hexagon followed up by BL13. behind them. So let's see if we can get some results in here. But good racing all around, Dave.
Yeah, this is what it's all about for sure. Something about, I'm a big fan of Eric Schlange and the tiny races. That concept is really perfect for a lot of our athletes. And as we see, there's very few Canadians and Americans. Almost, it's not entirely Europeans, but mostly. And I think that this really fits into getting some intense workouts in a relatively reasonable time frame, and just making themselves into better racers. Let me just run through the top 10 for you here. As Sev Kadozer does take the win in a phenomenal finish. Burke and his teammate coming two for second. Nice job today, Hexagon. Jan van Ruysbroek in third. Now, that's interesting. He must have just caught Luke before the line, Nathan, as Luke Gilbeau, who is one of the animators out there, ending up in fourth. It's going to be Iker Morel in fifth. Philip Utley, BL13, presented by Level Velo Rider, in sixth. Ruben Daunt. I thought Ruben was in really good shape. I probably would have thrown a tenner down on him. As Ruben Daunt there for Alpha in seventh. It's Giovanni Nucera in eighth. Justin Perot. Got to give him the most aggressive rider award, right, Nathan?
Yeah,
And
for sure.
yeah, and Martin Lind in 10th. But yeah, Justin, noteworthy performance today.
Yeah, and I gotta reiterate this race series and the way that it runs. I mean, it feels. What would you compare it to? I mean, it's so high intensity when it comes down to the back end of it. There's enough, there's enough landscape to work with, some tactics, Dave. So you kind of have a race
Perfect.
narrative play out, but at the same time, it isn't long enough that it really takes a ton out of the legs, so there's a lot of firepower to work with, right? Is there? And I haven't called much track racing. I haven't called any track racing or done any track racing, but I get the feeling that maybe there's a similarity to some of the track racing that might be out there to what we're seeing with how this plays out with the punch, the kick, always something kind of happening here on something that's a longer race on the track. But I think,
No, I think that's an incredibly observant point, Nathan. Absolutely. And that's where I think track racing is really underserved as far as it's incredibly exciting, but we really don't see very much of it on TV in the United States. So we just don't have enough velodromes as well. So that was part of what Eric Min was doing at Star Trek the other day
oh,
as
really
well, is
nice.
helping build up. They have a velodrome there, and it's a great place to get people. Velodromes and Zwift and BMX. That's the best place to get people into bikes for
And mountain
sure. And
bikes.
if you
And mountain
and,
bikes.
and mountain bikes, there you go. No,
I,
that's
you know,
absolutely fair.
the
And
Nike. I'm only bringing that in because I mean,
that's true.
we
You're
saw
right, though. NICA
UCI
is amazing.
type numbers at those Nike. Because you get all the parents. You get the parents involved, and next thing you know, it's insane. You've got the
Like a
cyclocross
NICA
type
state
numbers in
champion,
Belgium, but like
right?
it's at a Nike state championship.
So, I mean, for folks not in the United States, or it's the National Interscholastic Cycling Association that does high school mountain bike racing, and it's even younger than high school these days. But
Yep.
it's the best thing that's happened. Zwift and Nike are the best things that have happened to cycling, in my mind, in the
In
United
America,
States.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And when you look at it now, we've got so much potential with all of these young cyclists and so many great minds there. So
Did you see the
yeah,
announcement? On that same topic, just crossed my mind. We're going on a little bit of a chatter here, but um, there's like a bridgeway that's happening between USA Cycling and Nike. Actually, I just saw an announcement about that, and so they're doing
a
some
friend of
sort of
mine,
work. Go ahead.
Nat Ross, is a
Yeah,
gentleman
that's
who,
right. And he used to
yep,
race mountain bike at a really high level.
he was Nat was really in that very cool era when 24-hour racing was becoming a big thing, and Nat was one of the first solo 24-hour racers of note. He rode for Gary Fisher when they had a big team back in the
I
days
think
of
he
Pete
won the
Weber. And
Wausau 24 here once or twice.
I
That's
would
why I
guess
knew
he
of
did.
him.
Yeah, Nat was one of those guys, really prolific racer. And you know how much we celebrate community here on Zwift? He's one of those community builders in his world. And there's been a big, it was noteworthy how many kids would compete in NICA, enjoy the experience, and then that ended their cycling run when they graduated from high school. And they weren't picking up collegiate racing as much as people thought they would just naturally transfer into collegiate racing. Was a whole new set of athletes that were showing
Mm-hmm.
up in sport.
Interesting
So
the hurdles. Interesting the
yeah,
hurdles to build the sport up at each level of status it needs to have amongst those communities.
Absolutely. And so that's going back to your point. That's what Nat is trying to do is fill in that gap so that more of the kids who are enjoying NICA will continue into collegiate. And it's just trying to build the sport up for sure. I
Nice.
feel like I'm on
Awesome.
the wrap.
Well, let's transition to talking about that. Dave, maybe pretty soon. You've got plenty of knowledge in there about the world of cycling. We need to have you in as a guest to talk all other things that
Please.
you know about cycling. But I was actually maybe going to ask you about jumping in because Anna's gone. But we
I would
actually
love to
just
sometime. Yeah.
found out that we are bringing in Gray Gabbett from Next, as well as one of their
Right on.
sponsors, actually. So we're going to be looking at Kegel and what they make as far as their
The bearings,
and all that kind of stuff. So,
Right.
and talking wax chains and like, and
Great.
for those who are, especially like this broadcast, because I think there's a lot of like, how do I save every freaking watt I can? Well, that's going to be tomorrow's wrap. So jump in on the wrap tomorrow for sure. Because
Well,
it's gonna
Greg
be a
Abbott
good
is
one.
a super, super interesting guest or co-host, I guess, at this point, but good for you. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
I'll
that'll be
certainly
good.
be watching. I think you've done 70 episodes now, and I'm going to guess that I've watched at least 65 of them.
Yeah, 70. Number 70 is going tomorrow. I thought we might have to skip, but I'm glad that we're not going to. Well, also tomorrow, everybody, Zwift Grand Prix. Definitely check out everybody that's going to be streaming over on Twitch. Gabby will be live on Twitch. I'll be in the background screaming at her about when to go because they are going to be on that Glasgow crit course for, is it 5 laps, I believe. It's FAL, FTS, so it's a points race. It's going to be very tactical, very interesting. I think it's going to be a good race tomorrow for the ladies in the Zwift Grand Prix. And then we are working out the schedule for when it fits best for our guests on the wrap, actually. So I'll be scheduling that as soon as possible to know when we are going live because 11 p.m. Central Time might work for Anna. I'm not sure it's going to work for our guests tomorrow. So we'll get that going either Thursday or Friday. So watch out for that. And we'll be back next week for more Z Racing, BL13, Zwift Racing League, round number 2, race number 2. All of it's happening. Head over to ZwiftCommunityLive.com. Lots of updates actually coming. Big shout out to Gabriella for all the work that she's doing in the background, actually, with the website. You guys, it's really growing out. And if you got team recruiting you want to do, we're starting to open up a forum for that. You can make submissions now on the website of your fashion show, and we will highlight if we make you the pick. So if you're taking pictures in game and you think you've got the pick for the fashion show, show us your fashion. You can submit it on the website now. Lots of cool stuff happening over there. Everybody, we've been live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, /X. Go ahead and hit that like, follow, subscribe, and comment. It does help out a ton. We just bumped over 13,000 subscribers actually on YouTube. We have some big goals. It looks like we're going to hit them, and I'm really excited to see everybody that's new to the community. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow or Friday-ish for the wrap, and thanks everybody for tuning in. From me and Dave, as always, ride on.